So now I'm going to talk about carriage agreements and inventory shares. So we'll start with carriage agreements. So you can imagine that there are a lot of different players in the CTV space. There is the TV manufacturer, so who makes the hardware. There's the operating system. Is it the same company? Sometimes, but not always. There is the layer beneath that, so the VMVPDs and all of the different options for apps that are available within the CTV device. And then there's the broadcaster channels themselves, and you can start to sense there's a lot of depth and complexity when it comes to connected television. So with that, carriage agreements need to be struck. You need to have an idea of, like, if you are a television manufacturer, and there's several of them out there now that have full lists of channels that they provide for free. And that's called fast television or free ad-supported television. The channels that they provide are their partners, right? Sometimes they can be channels created by the TV manufacturer themselves. They can go out and curate the content and license the content. But they also might have something from a local broadcaster, right? Or a broadcaster for the country in which they're running. And the broadcaster will dictate what they can show, what times they can show it, what channels it can be near, what data they can share in the bid stream about the shows that are, or the channels that are airing, right? Are they allowed to talk about show title? Are they allowed to resell it? So all of these things come into carriage agreements. And then inventory shares. Like, how does some of that get activated? So sometimes a TV manufacturer might have the rights to monetize a certain percentage of that inventory for a channel, let's say for a broadcaster again, and the remainder of it would go back to the broadcaster itself. So what that would look like is you would set up an inventory share at the SSAI level, right? So right here, we'd have another output, and this would call, this box won't be as pretty as my predefined ones. So you would have ad server 2, right? And ad server 2 would be for the content owners or the channel owners, the broadcaster, whatever it might be. And everything else would look very similar, right? So that ad server might have direct sold, where they've struck deals directly with an agency or a brand, or they might also have their own programmatic bidding stream that they call, right? But each side is responsible for a certain percentage of the overall ad break. And it could be, the way they split the ad breaks is also nuanced. It could be a percentage of breaks or a percentage of the break. Let's say there's 120 seconds. You fill 60 seconds, I'll fill the next 60. It could be a percentage of slots. You get the first 2 slots, I get the next 2. They can say, I have the right to the first slot in the pod or the first slot in the ad break, and you get the remainder. There's just a lot of different ways that this can be negotiated. But that is an inventory share. It's when you're sharing the inventory between 2 different partners, and both partners get to monetize on that inventory. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.